Hello, Hamilton investors. I have a very special treat for you today. I'm actually in City Hall in Hamilton right now, and with me here I have Glen, who's going to tell us a bit about what's going on in downtown Hamilton and what you should know. And Glen, I'll let you introduce yourself and why people should be listening to what you know.
All right, so my name's Glen Norton. I'm the acting manager of our downtown and community renewal section of economic development and planning. What I think investors should know about our downtown is that we are going through a renewal after a long term of decline and loss of office and employment. That trend is reversing. We're seeing jobs come back, offices are filling back up, businesses are relocating downtown, and a lot of that is just because the environment is changing. We're gaining benefits from Toronto, which is just across the water here. You can see Toronto across the way, and we are growing. We're diversifying our economy away from the manufacturing and steel that most of you would know us for. Steel is still here and always will be, but it's advanced steel manufacturing now. But now we have a very large biosciences market. We are into the creative industry sector. We have an agribusiness sector, and clean technology is an emerging one for us. So we are now into solar manufacturing and wind. So it's a city that's changing, and that brings with it opportunities and people's choices to live downtown. Again, another trend is the desire to people to live downtown near where they work, and so we're seeing young people graduating from university choosing to stay here, and then we're seeing the empty nesters who are choosing to move in from the suburbs now that their kids have all gone off and live downtown for the lifestyle that they want, with theater, restaurants, the amenities of a downtown lifestyle. So that's what I'd want people to know about us.
Okay. Glen, a lot of my readers are really interested in job growth and transportation improvements. So how about can we touch on say McMaster Innovation Park and surrounding areas?
So McMaster Innovation Park is a brownfields, a former brownfields that McMaster University has purchased and has converted the former Camco head office into a center for innovation, and it is full. And beside them now, just recently opened in the last couple of months, is CanMet, which is the Canadian metals testing facility that moved here from Ottawa, and with it brought all the jobs that go along with it. So there's several more expansions planned of that, so good high-tech research type jobs that go along with that. And in terms of transportation, we are a multimodal hub here because we have a large cargo airport. We are one of the busiest cargo ports for shipping in the Great Lakes. We are also, of course, on the highway routes, so however you want to ship, you can get it in and out of Hamilton, because we also have rail and we have a shunting yard here. So we have all forms of transportation in Hamilton.
Great. Glen, so in our earlier discussion, I was happily surprised about the number of jobs that are currently in the McMaster Innovation Park area, and then the growth. So can you just give some numbers?
Yeah, so, and again, we're just talking approximate numbers. If there's 1,000 jobs there now approximately, the ultimate growth for that innovation district is probably more like 6,000 jobs, and there's the room to accommodate the buildings for those people, and of course that makes an opportunity for housing as well.
And that's, so we're talking about 5,000 people, growth jobs, high-paying jobs, right?
Correct.
And but what kind of time horizon are we looking at?
Well, that's a bit hard to say, because it's how fast can you attract those industries, right? We don't necessarily control that. All we control is sort of the land, and McMaster controls their piece of it. The faster we can get the companies there, the better. And it's a very competitive market, as you can appreciate. But McMaster is one of the most highly funded research universities in Canada, and is being very successful in spinning off and furthering that research through partners such as CanMet. So, you know, my hope would be that we're at capacity in 10 to 15 years, but again, who knows? So
the jobs are coming.
The jobs are coming.
Can you tell us a bit? Tell me a bit more about James North and the West Harbour area. We discussed earlier how you made a decision to live in that area, and tell me a bit about the transportation improvements.
Sure. So James North is an area that has grown just of its own. It's a former commercial strip that would have connected the early harbour, and it would have been our very early, going back to the turn of the century, our main commercial district. It's now coming back as our creative district, so the artists are discovering it. There's something like 19 galleries down there. probably close to 50 studios. So it's a creative area. It's one of those areas that's coming back up. It is our main connection to the harbor as well, in terms of our transit goes down to the harbor at the end of it. We hope to put an LRT line on there when LRT comes along. So it's an accessible area. It's just off the main core. My wife and I have chosen to live down there eventually because we do work right downtown, and most of our social life is now downtown in terms of theater and restaurants and things we like to do. So it didn't make sense for us, being empty nesters, to continue to commute in from the suburbs. So once our condo gets built, we'll be moving downtown.
Okay. Can you comment on your confidence level for the GO train going to the James North station?
Yeah, confidence level, again, it's a decision controlled by Metrolinx, but they are still saying they're very confident it is coming to be here in 2014. And I've said to several contractors, this is what they tell us as the city: why don't you go as a developer and say, I'd like to have independent verification of that? And they have. They've invited them down. One fellow went in and actually was shown the plans for it. And they're at the stage now where they're reviewing their environmental assessment, but the surveying has been done. I've actually seen the plans for the layout of the parking lots and that, so I'm pretty confident that it will be here for 2014. It makes so much sense.
And I guess the term is you put your money where your mouth is too, because you're buying in the area.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are. I mean, when you think about the logic of getting cars off of the QEW, that line will continue right down to Niagara Falls. So you can get on in Niagara Falls, you can get on St. Catharines, you can get on in Hamilton, and then you can get on Burlington, Oakville, and so on. So it's the absolutely logical extension of the GO Transit system.
Can you comment on, do you know how many trains are going to run out of that station?
During peak periods, it'll be every 20 minutes service to and from Toronto.
And how does that affect the existing Hunter station?
Well, Hunter will continue to have service, but it'll be, as it is now, it will be, there's 2 or 3 in the morning and 2 or 3 in the evening. They'll continue to have service, but it won't be as regular. It won't have the peak trains that this one will have.
Okay. So while we're here, let's not spoil the view, and how about you point out some of the major developments going on that we can see from this standpoint?
Yep. So people are probably familiar with the Art Gallery of Hamilton, the yellow building there at the front that has undergone a major redevelopment, and it's one of the major art galleries in Canada right now. The Sheraton underwent a $10 million retrofit this year, so all the rooms were redone. There's another $5 million being spent this year by the new owner of it. So the rooms are excellent in there. Our downtown, the building we're standing in, is one of our biggest investments. We've completely refurbished this building to save its architecture. We just moved in just a year ago. You can't see it. Well, maybe in the corner you can, if you go that way. The bus terminal, that's brand new. So now you can catch any of your buses downtown in one spot. And there's covered, so you're out of the weather, there's heated washrooms. So it makes it very nice if you're a transit rider coming into the downtown from any of the surrounding areas. So hard to point out too much else that's happening behind the buildings. Cops Coliseum is through there. This is our convention center right in the foreground, the Hamilton Place Theatre and the convention center. So pretty important center to our social life here, to our cultural life in the city.
Could you comment on the port?
Sure. So if you're able to just see the port through there, it's had a tremendously successful growth over the last little while. With we unload a lot of grain seeds here coming from Western Canada, so seed processing is important, agribusiness, as well as the steel, which you can see clearly through there. So we have a new steel company, Max Eicher, has located their North American headquarters here, creating a specialty bar product. We have Bunge, which again is a seed oil. That's where the new solar plant will be. Fluke Transport has located a major change in mode location there, where they take things off of the boats onto their trucks. So McAsphalt has increased their capacity down there, where they hold asphalt aggregates. So a very, very busy port. It's one of the busiest in the Great Lakes.
So that's about 10 minutes now.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and that's about the cutoff for YouTube. So, Glen, I'll thank you for your time and giving my investors this insight into the city.
Great. My pleasure, Erwin. Thank you.
Thank you.